WrestleMania is in the books. Fiona is still sleeping. Well, she's here anyway, but she's half asleep. But we're now not focusing on WrestleMania. We're focusing on NWA and a spotlight show with the former one half of the former two-time tag team champions. We are joined by Mecha Wolf. Good afternoon, I believe, Mecha.
Good up. Yeah, it is like 2 o'clock here, so it is the afternoon. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Fiona. Even if it's
And
like
you, as always.
It's
over here.
It's VPN over here because she bought a VPN to watch Power, so she's now
I caved in finally so I can watch the show. It's only taken me 2 months.
It means a lot. It means a lot that you're still supporting. I know it's been hard for a lot of the fans, especially the international ones. I hear it all the time from people here in Mexico. So hopefully something could be done soon, sooner and later. Hopefully this year too. But thank you for supporting, man. Honestly, I feel like the people that are not able to see what we have been doing in the last few episodes are really missing out as far as like the production and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, hopefully we'll see where it goes.
Definitely.
Fingers
So
crossed.
yeah, fingers crossed, definitely. Well, yeah, I mean, Fee's been watching Power for the last few weeks anyway, Fee, and we've already talked about, we spoke to Carl last week about it, about how small changes every now and again have made a big difference to NWA. The production's been a big thing. How have you seen the last few years? I mean, obviously you won the tag team championships twice, you've lost it, but the growth of the NWA in the last few years, how have you seen it there, literally being there with it?
This is goes. He might be popping in and out.
That's okay.
As far as the growth, I think if you look back 2 years ago, or even a year ago, or even 6 months ago, and you look at the product right now, you can see a huge difference. When I came into the NWA, it was, I believe, 2021. It was completely different. The whole roster was different. In a way, the mentality of everybody backstage was a lot different, and the way they saw things. And now it's evolved into what you see right now on your screens. It makes me really happy to be part of that because I was able to witness that change from watching NWA Power on YouTube from what it was to what it is right now. And then joining the company almost 3 years ago, and then seeing what it was then and what it is now, and how it's evolved so much from like even 3 years ago, and how much it's going to keep evolving. So to me, it's a big honor, and makes me really happy that I'm able to witness this. And I'm not on every episode. I'm not on at every taping because I have my stuff here in Mexico as well with AAA, and I have a contract with AAA, so I have to like be there, and I can't be sometimes at the NWA shows, which is a shame. But being able to be part of that growth, even if it's a little small grain of salt, it makes me really happy, and it's a big honor. And I think it's just gonna keep growing, and it's just better for everybody all around, the fans, the wrestlers, and everybody else. And at the end of the day, I think no matter what anybody says, this is gonna keep going as long as Billy wants, and Billy's a very stubborn dude. So I think we're gonna go a long, long way.
Definitely. So for you've been a fan since pretty much since the inception, I think we were speaking about the other day. When you have seen, what was the differences that you have seen from, say, the first day you watched it to, say, last week's show that you saw?
So obviously, like last week was the first week I've come back to it since we got the VPN, and so it was the end of the new season. Mecha Wolf has said himself, the production values for this season in particular are through the roof. The camera, just even the use of the cameras, the style of the show, it's a lot more nittier. It's not as, I don't know, it's quite gritty, but the I don't even, the set and everything, it's all changed. It's gone very much from the kind of 80s style TV studio setting to a much more modern TV setting. It's still very much a studio. That's not changed. It's not like they've even tried to hide the fact that it's still in a studio, but it's just kind of modernized. But the biggest thing for me when I switched it on last week for the first time was like, wow, the cameras, the quality of the actual footage is just completely different. It's like miles and miles above what it used to be.
And wait till you see the hard times footage, because the way that that setting looks at that venue is amazing. I can't wait for people to see it. And of course, yours truly and Alex Mystery have some surprises for everybody for those episodes that are coming up. So stay
I'm
tuned.
excited. And that starts tomorrow night, as far
It
as I'm
does.
aware. I think the footage
Yes.
starts tomorrow, so that'll be great. I'm looking forward to that.
Indeed, we can't wait for that, and I'll certainly get your feedback, Fee, when we do our review show later on in the week, probably Thursday, as we generally do. Mecha, you've also been privileged to have won the tag team championships on 2 occasions. Now, the NWA has had a really big lineage of championships, and it's always, that's something special when you do win any championship. But when it's the NWA with the lineage, the history, and they put their championships on you, what is that feeling like that you're going to be forefront in the company as one of their prestigious champions?
I use this word a lot on interviews, and it's just I feel like people could make like a compilation of me saying this word, and it could last like 10 minutes probably. But it's an honor, honestly. There's no other word other than that, because if you look at it as far as like my history, Alex Mystery's dad, for example, Apollo, he was one half of NWA Tag Team Champions with when he was in NWA TNA with D'Lo Brown. Um, Homicide, Conan, Hernandez, all these guys. But Bestia and myself were two guys that were born. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. Bestia was born and raised in Mexico. And there was never a Mexican born and a Puerto Rican born, pure blooded tag team that held those titles. And to us, it was not only an honor, but it was a big representation of the work that we've been doing for so many years. And it finally paid off. We worked really, really hard to get to that. And we told everybody that we were the best. And everybody that were here, we were telling them that we were the best. And we were showing it and proving it all over the world. So when we got those belts, to us, it's like, okay, now it's time to really prove that we're the best. Let's go to the UK. Let's go to Japan. Let's go to Mexico. Let's go to Canada. Let's go to Puerto Rico, my country, with these belts. And we got to wrestle some of the biggest tag teams all over the world, holding those titles, beat some of the biggest tag teams in the world. The Briscoes, perfect example, rest in peace, Jay Briscoe, like he was a pillar in tag team wrestling, and he was never able to hold those belts. And the one time they tried to do it was against us, and we beat them. And they're one of the greatest tag teams. And it's such a shame that we couldn't run it back. To me,
Yeah.
It's such a shame that we couldn't run that match back with the Briscoes, because it was such an honor. And we were able to not only do that, we were able to do it for the better part of 2 years, like straight up 2 years. We lost the belts maybe 2-3 months and got them right back. So, to us, it was a big weight also to carry on our shoulders and our backs. It's a really heavy. It's an inside joke that the NWA tag belt is like the actual heaviest tag, like actual title in the company. It's really heavy. It's about 12 point something, almost 13 pounds. But other than it being an honor, it was a huge responsibility, because now we were carrying the name of Latino wrestling in a way.
Sure.
Not only the company, but we're like, okay, let's help other guys out. You know what I mean? Let's try to bring other people in. And then after we kind of like sort of not really open the door, but they kind of let a little crack in the door, and we just slip in, and it's like, okay, now everybody, let's get in. And Triple A brought like all the guys for the Crockett Cup from from like Mexico. And it was really cool to see as well, because it's like, in a way, they're like, okay, these guys brought something different. Let's see, let's bring a little bit of that Mexican lucha libre, Puerto Rican style into the NWA. It doesn't have to be just La Rebellion. It could be all these other guys too. So it was really cool. And to me, it's still one of the biggest accomplishments that I will ever hold in my life. And I'll always keep that close to my heart. because it really means a lot to both myself and Bestia. So.
Yeah, definitely. So I must just quick side note, not necessarily because he was he's not from Puerto Rico, but I think he's lived in Puerto Rico for a majority of his life. We just mentioned WrestleMania, Damian Priest winning the heavyweight championship. So it's now, I think he's like one of the first, I think he's American-born Puerto Rican because he lived out there. So he's now one of the first Puerto Rican champions. Does that also give you a sense of pride as well when someone like that from, say, like a WWE wins the big one?
Definitely, because if you were to say that 20 years ago, nobody would have believed it. If you were to say that, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, a lot of people wouldn't have believed it. Because, like, if you think about it, the only Puerto Rican star that was ever created in the last 2 decades was Carlito,
Yeah.
you know, and they kind of put a glass ceiling over him in a way. So now seeing Damian Priest be able to capture that brass ring and being like, okay, this is one of our people, you know, even, you know, even if he was born in the UK and his parents are Puerto Rican, he's still one of us, you know. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. You mentioned the Crockett Cup there, Fee, one of your most favorite competitions.
My favorite, I am a huge tag team wrestling fan, so I love the Crockett Cup. Obviously, first time I met you was when we were out in Nashville in 2022. Yeah, so Nashville 2022. Your gear at that Crockett Cup, you and Bestia were just looked incredible. Totally looked the part. I loved your gear then. I loved that entire tournament. With the Crockett Cup coming up now, obviously in NWA, you're probably better known as being one half of a tag team. Obviously, Bestia is no longer with the NWA. Are you able to tell us what if you've got plans for the Crockett Cup? Are you looking for a teammate? Are you able to tell us any of that sort of information?
Right now, I know for a fact that I'm not at the Crockett Cup because I have previous stuff that I have to do, and you know, I'm not in a tag team anymore. They've been trying to push me into the singles division now that Bessie is no longer in the company, and I think that's the way to move forward. It's a shame that this will be the third year that I would have been part of the Crockett Cup, but in my opinion, if I'm not there with Bestia, I don't think I should be there at all. You know, and I think that chapter for now is, I wouldn't say closed, but you know, it's come to a conclusion, I feel like, for the moment. And if we pick that up down the line, maybe we will, but right now we won't because of a lot of things. And we started a thing here in Mexico with AAA and one of the rival companies to Crash, and Bestie and myself are going to be for the first time on opposite sides in like
Oh wow, that'll be
years.
fun. Okay.
So yeah, that's basically what's going on. I'm more just going towards the singles part of my career now. So yeah, I don't think I won't take any part in the Crockett Cup activities, unfortunately.
So going
But
on.
I wish everybody luck. I'm really excited to see the new teams that they're going to bring in. NWA always goes all out when it comes to our bigger events and our signature live events. So I think they're going to bring a lot of awesome tag teams. So I think there's always a reason to tune in and watch. And me necessarily not being there, it doesn't change anything. You know, we tried for 2 years to win it. We couldn't win it. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know, 3 years down the line, Bessie and myself could, you know,
Come back
rekindle
and kick ass again, basically.
our friendship, and you know, maybe get back together in a capacity and try to get the Crockett Cup maybe a few years down the line. But right now it's time for me to enjoy my singles run.
Well, talking of that, obviously, as a singles wrestler in NWA, there's obviously a whole locker room of people that you've not had a chance to be one-on-one with. Who have you got your eyes on? Who would be like, who in the locker room currently is somebody that you really, really want to go one-on-one in the ring with?
I feel like there's so many people that you can name in the NWA that I could be like, okay, I can literally just throw a ball and hit anybody in the roster and I could have a great match with, because we have a great roster. As far as guys that I want to work, And I think it's kind of crazy. I think me and Silas Mason will have an amazing match. You know what I mean? Because he's such a big dude
Yeah.
and old school. And I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm not the smallest guy either. And I've thrown around big guys just like him in the NWA, no problem. So I think we will have a big one of those barn burners, like old school Puerto Rican bloodbaths. And I think he will be the right guy to do that with. Um, but I wouldn't, man, I wouldn't lie to you if I wouldn't want to like a little piece of EC3 as well. You know, I feel like EC3 brings us best when he's challenged,
Hmm.
and he hasn't had that many challenges recently. Um, as far as like being tested at his core, not the hardcore stuff or any of that stuff. Anybody could do that, but being tested at his core and like a long match, being dragged into deep waters, where that's where I shine. You know what I mean? That's where I shine because I don't got one gas tank. I got like a backup gas tank, you know? So like those are the types of matches that I'm interested in, you know, like wrestling the bigger guys, the guys that are somebody, that bend somebody, the guys that say they're somebody, and the guys representing the company. Hello, Ghost. And I think those guys, and definitely, I want a piece of Trevor Murdoch as well. You know,
Another big guy, yeah,
also
absolutely.
these are guys not only that I think are the big top dogs in our locker room, but these are guys that I respect, and I think that goes a long way as well into having a great match. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down for any of them, so bring it on.
Put Latimer in that mix as well.
Oh man, so funny story. The first time I met Tom Latimer, or one of the first times we met, we wrestled. This is 10 years ago in Florida at like FIP, and I used to do these repeated elbow drops, and he didn't know I did them. So I just kept dropping elbows on him, and he was trying to just like, receive the impact of the elbow. And he sits up as I'm coming down with the elbow. And I have these really sharp elbows, and I just like open them up right here on his shin. And I also have a scar here. So like now we're like scar twins. And yeah, that was like one of the first times I met Latimer, and I have nothing but love and respect for that guy. I know him for years, and it's been amazing to see the journey of him being who he was to who he is right now. It's a really beautiful thing, and yeah, throw him in the mix as well, man. I would love to go back and run it back with him.
He might give you a receipt for that chin incident.
I wouldn't expect any less.
It would be. I think that'd be a great. Yeah, Latimer, throw Latimer in. Maybe Knox as well. If you want Murdoch, you're gonna have to get Knox as well, right?
Oh, now you're trying to get me killed.
Definitely, definitely not trying to do that. One of the things I was going to say, I know you're quite a big fan of music as well, and I want to sort of play the importance of music in wrestling because there is such a thing, theme songs and whatnot sometimes define the athlete. If you go back, I'm not even talking about artists at this point. If you go back, Stone Cold was the Glass Shower. We heard the bong of the Undertaker and things like that. But there is a thing, or for example, Adam Copeland with Alter Bridge. The music can sometimes play a big part in the character. Would you like to sort of maybe twist your music up a little bit to be a bit more about your character?
As far as my NWA theme,
yeah.
So that's the tricky part. So in NWA we have Sherry, who's a beautiful, awesome person. She not only handles one job, but she handles many, many jobs. She wears many, many hats in the company. And without her, a lot of stuff wouldn't go as smooth as it goes backstage. But Sherry also is the person that's behind the theme musics. And I, one of the things they told me was because I wanted originally for my band Monster Wolf to be my theme song, and one of the songs I had picked, it's a pretty fast song, And Sherry goes like, Billy doesn't want that death metal stuff. We're just gonna keep the song that you like. And I was like, well, Tom comes out to this crazy grindcore stuff that's like way crazier than my stuff. But in a way, the music stuck, and it kind of like it grew on me. You know, the song it really grew on me. So we kept it because we started with that song when we started the whole the rebellion thing. As soon as we debuted it, that was like our song. We never got a like, hey, do you like this? Do you like that? It was kind of like it was given to us, and it worked. And yeah, I kept the sense, but hopefully I could come up with a more NWA friendly version of a theme song, which I've been working on for a while actually. And as soon as I record it, I'll pitch it to the company, see how it goes.
That'd be good. That'd be interesting. But it is right though, Fee. I mean, music sometimes really takes over the character of a wrestler. You know, we've seen it all along. I mean, what do you believe about Fee about how importance of the theme music to the character of the wrestler?
I think there's a really strong correlation between the two of them. It's very much kind of like what you said. Some of the theme tunes are so iconic. When you hear that first beat, never mind the first bar, you know exactly who's coming out, and it helps build up the atmosphere. It helps draw the fans in and things like that. I really do think it's I think it's very, very important to have the right song for the right person, really.
And to
Don't
your
ask me
question,
what.
well, sorry to cut you off,
No, it's okay.
but your question as well, I think that we need that back. What you saying, Fee? Basically, we need that back in wrestling. Like, for example, AEW is like a lot of the theme songs, they seem like very similar.
Mhm.
So you can't really pick a lot of people out from the pack because it's really hard to stand out because there's none of that the glass shattering, the gong, like so you think you're untouchable, the world life stuff, like all these little things that kind of get you, like he said, like excited for it. I think that's missing. So going back to the question earlier to finish my what I was trying to say, because I forgot. I think we need that back for sure in wrestling. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay. It's quite all right. It's quite all right.
Yeah.
But it's very much, particularly when you see like the big stage last night, for example, you would hear even just the first bar of Cena's music when he came out in the main event last night and things like that. And you just know the place just erupted because you knew exactly within a second, literally 1 single second, you knew who was coming out. And the crowd either get right behind them and pop for them, or they'll start booing and yelling and telling them what they think of them if they're not a fan. And that's such a good thing.
Yeah.
I do want them to add a howl to my theme song in NWA for sure.
I think they should.
People love that stuff. They're always howling at the shows, so I think that would be cool. I might get Sherry to do that. See what she
Speak
thinks.
nicely to her. I'm sure she will.
I always do. She's a sweetheart.
Exactly that. As we start finishing up, Mecha, the last time we saw you, Power unsanctioned match with Misery. How does he plan a match like? Because obviously, when you're doing unsanctioned stuff, it's not necessarily run of the mill. It's always something crazy happens. What is the thought process in planning one of those sort of matches that are not, well, I would say, generic?
Um, it's kind of tricky, especially when you don't know it's an unsanctioned match and you find out after all that is going on. So you have to just kind of like, okay, let's just roll with it, like let's roll with the punches. Let's see what we could use. See what's available. Let's see what's around. And to me, I'm very simplistic. I'm like, if we can't have all of it, then I want none of it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna have an on-station match, that I want to be able to bust out everything I can. But if there's none of that, you can still get creative. Like as far as we didn't have to use countouts. We didn't have to use any of the basic like breaking the rule breaks. We didn't have any of that. So that was kind of cool because I was able to get away with more stuff that I normally wouldn't be able to get away with. But in my opinion, if we would have had like some weapons and stuff like that, I think it would have added to it. But considering the time that we had, we didn't need it, especially after Alex climbing up the power station, jumping from that. Um, I think that was like the biggest moment for me in the match, other than, you know, the finish and everything like that. But I think that's kind of like, okay, just the fact that we were able to do that and not have a referee count us out, or the match being thrown out because it was a double disqualification or whatever. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, on station match, they picked it up to like freaking bleed and like light the set on fire or something. And it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be that, like, because you need to build to get to a match of that stature. And then we were also telling the story of we're both trying to get this favor from Vampiro. You know, we're trying to impress him. We're trying to, and really to impress Vampiro, he's a twisted guy, but he's also a very different type of person, because he might give you and tell you these things, but he wants you to do something else. He's the type of person to hand you a knife and turn his back on you to see what you would do, and then when you stab him, it's a fake knife. You know what I mean? Like, so that plays into the match as well. So you have to think about the storyline that we're also trying to go with, the whole Vampiro thing, and then going into, okay, you're having an unsanctioned match, and everybody's okay, unsanctioned match, then these guys are gonna light each other on flames. It's like, why are we gonna light each other on flames if we're trying to get this favor from Vampiro, the guy that would expect us to do these things? But he's also very minimalistic as well. So you have to like walk that fine line of, what do you think the crowd wants to see, what we're going in the story that we're telling in the company, and then use the tools that you have at your advantage. And I'm like, if we don't have all the tools, then we create the tools. So we use the set around us, and we use the time that we had to create what we had, you know. And I think it was a really good match, and I was really happy. And for me, it was full circle, because I've known Apollo since he was Apollo. I always call him Apollo, Alex Mystery. I know him since he was a kid.
Yeah.
Knowing his dad, you know, and his dad helped me out a lot in Puerto Rico coming up. You know, like, I beat his dad when I was Universal Champion in Puerto Rico for Carlos Colon. And it was a big deal to me, because he's like one of the biggest stars in all of Puerto Rican wrestling. So now me being able to be in the ring with Alex Mystery, you know, all storylines aside, is a big honor. And it's really crazy, because I saw him when he was a little boy running around the locker rooms, and now he's like taller than me. And now I get to wrestle him, and, you know, and almost like teach him the ropes, you know, because believe it or not, you know, I've been wrestling 22 years. So I have a little bit of experience on him. So like, I get to teach him, you know, how to work for the NWA style, how to, you know, just little things that the people don't know, just little things like that, like little small details. And to me, that's where the true creation of this beautiful thing that we call wrestling is all about, you know, just getting creative with someone like that you have all this history with. And I think it came out in the match and the show. It showed that we had really good chemistry, and we never even worked with each other ever, you know. So I'm really happy with it.
Definitely. So it would be fitting. You need to ask the last question of the podcast. You're the NWA queen over here, so please.
Oh, you put me on the spot. So, my goodness, right. One belt that you get a chance going in as a singles wrestler in NWA. Are you going to go, if you get one belt to choose from, are you going to go the world's heavyweight straight off, or would you go for the national championship or the television championship first?
I don't want to mess with Mac, so
I don't think anyone wants to mess with Max.
I like Max. I like Max too. So, I think I will go like national title first. I think that will be the right way to do it. You know, start at the bear. Not it wouldn't technically be the bottom because I've already been an NWA World Champion twice. But I think the national wrestling title will be the way to start that journey to getting to 10 pounds of gold.
Certainly would. And what a way to end it on that. So Nash, and that championship is vacated at the minute, right? Fee, you'll know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, currently it is. There's going to be a tournament at Hard Times for it. So
there we go. We'll find out at Hard Times who wins. Obviously, this week on NWA.
match.
Yeah. This week on the NWA is the start of Hard Times. Colby Carino and Joe Alonzo for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Also, the Fantastics, Spectaculars, sorry, not the Fantastics, they're an old team from the 80s. The Spectaculars, Spencer will take on Magic Jake Dumas in the other match that I've seen announced for this week. Mecha, it's been awesome talking to you. Thank you so much for taking some of your time from your afternoon to come and talk to us. We are very much appreciative of that. Fee, thank you as ever. I would say enjoy Glasgow or Scotland, but it's probably raining and windy and everything.
I don't know. It's dark. The curtains are shut.
It's bedtime. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to go and get some sleep. So thank you, Fee, as ever. I'll see you this week. We've also got Spencer from the Spectaculars. I better get that right for this week, as well as our NWA review. Until then, thank you again, Mecha Wolf, for your time, and we'll see you all later on this week. Until then, everybody, take care and good night.